Move over, Octo Mom. We now have Octo Goat.
Nature is a master of the unexpected, revealing mind-bending mutations, shocking behaviors, and astonishing transformations that defy logic.
Another Florida family had a much different surprise. Their cow gave birth to a two-headed calf. A birth like this happens every 1 in 400 million times.
Just when you think you've figured it out, the animal kingdom delivers another wild twist. These unbelievable stories will challenge everything you thought you knew and leave you absolutely speechless. Cholita.
Merry Christmas to everybody from Cholita.
Cholita is a spectacled bear from Peru who became well known due to her unusual appearance and tragic past. Spectacled bears, also called Andean bears, are the only bear species native to South America. They usually have black fur with light-colored markings around their eyes, but Cholita lost all her fur due to stress and poor conditions in captivity. Cholita was taken from the wild as a cub and forced to live in a traveling circus in Peru. Her captors removed her claws and broke her teeth to make her less dangerous. These injuries left her defenseless and unable to eat properly. The stress of captivity caused her to develop alopecia, a condition that made her lose all her fur. Instead of a thick black coat, Cholita had bare, wrinkled skin. After the circus could no longer care for her, Cholita was placed in a Peruvian zoo. However, the zoo did not have the proper resources to provide her with a comfortable life. She remained in poor health and continued to suffer from the effects of her early mistreatment. Animal Defenders International, an animal welfare organization, stepped in to rescue Cholita. They moved her to a sanctuary in the Peruvian jungle, where she had a safe and spacious environment. She was given a specially designed habitat with trees, grass, and a den where she could rest. Although she never regained her fur, she lived a much healthier and happier life in the sanctuary. Plans were made to relocate Cholita to a wildlife sanctuary in Colorado, USA, but it was ultimately decided that she should stay in her home country. The Peruvian government and Animal Defense International worked together to ensure she received proper care. Cholita lived in the sanctuary for several years, where she was monitored by veterinarians and caretakers. She became a symbol of resilience and a well-known example of the suffering that animals in captivity can endure. In early 2023, Cholita passed away at the age of 33. She was one of the oldest known spectacled bears in captivity. Her story raised awareness about the importance of wildlife protection and the need to stop animal exploitation in circuses and other industries. Kenny, a white Bengal tiger. Kenny was a white Bengal tiger who looked different from other tigers. His face was a little flat and his teeth stuck out. Some people thought he had Down syndrome, but that was not true. Tigers do not get Down syndrome like people do. Instead, Kenny looked the way he did because of bad breeding. Kenny was born in 1999 in the United States. His owners wanted a perfect white tiger, so they made two tigers from the same family have babies together. This is called inbreeding, and it can cause health problems. Many white tigers are born with weak bones, crooked teeth, or trouble walking because of inbreeding. Kenny's brother, Willie, was also born sick and blind. Kenny was lucky in some ways. His owners did not want him because he did not look perfect, so a rescue group saved him. He went to live at Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge in Arkansas, a place that helps big cats.
Kenny was one of the lucky ones. Other white tigers, deemed invaluable, are discarded in horrific ways.
The people there loved him and took good care of him. Even though he looked different, Kenny was happy and playful. He liked to run, play with toys, and be around his caretakers.
We're very, very proud and very happy because they are totally normal, there is nothing wrong.
Sadly, Kenny did not live a long life. He passed away in 2008 when he was 9 years old. Most tigers can live up to 20 years in captivity, but because of his bad breeding, Kenny had health problems that made his life shorter. Human-fox hybrid. In Karachi, Pakistan, there's a special attraction at the Karachi Zoo called Mumtaz Begum. Mumtaz Begum is a mythical creature with the head of a woman and the body of a fox. She has been entertaining visitors for over 40 years. Mumtaz Begum is not a real creature. She is portrayed by a performer who interacts with visitors, sharing stories and answering questions. This unique exhibit combines elements of theater and folklore, making it a popular attraction for both locals and tourists. The role of Mumtaz Begum has been passed down through generations. Currently, Murad Ali plays the character, having taken over from his father 16 years ago. Murad Ali spends long hours in character, engaging with visitors and keeping the tradition alive. Visitors to the Karachi Zoo often seek out Mumtaz Begum for her witty conversations and fortune-telling abilities.
The people who visit here go away happy, and knowing that they feel happy makes me happy too. There is a bond of love between me and them. Life is very short. It should be spent spreading smiles.
She has become a cultural icon in Karachi, blending entertainment with traditional storytelling. Three-eyed snake. In 2019, rangers in Australia's Northern Territory found something very strange. It was a three-eyed snake. Most snakes have two eyes, but this one had an extra eye right in the middle of its forehead. The snake was a baby carpet python, only 40 centimeters long. Rangers found it near a place called Humpty Doo, not far from the big city of Darwin. They decided to give it a funny name, Monty Python, after a famous comedy group. Scientists were very curious about Monty. They took X-ray pictures to look inside its head. They found out the third eye was real and part of its skull. Some people thought maybe the snake had two heads stuck together, but that wasn't true. Instead, the snake grew that way inside its egg. Scientists believe this happens when something goes wrong while a baby animal is growing. Monty's extra eye could blink and move, just like its other two eyes. But having three eyes made life really hard. Monty had a strange-shaped head, which made it difficult to eat. Snakes need to swallow their food whole, but Monty struggled. Even though the rangers tried to take care of it, Monty only lived for about a month. Even though Monty didn't live long, people all over the world were amazed by it. Rangers posted pictures, and soon, Monty became famous online. Many people had never seen a snake like this before. Some thought it looked scary, while others thought it was cool. Some people worried that pollution or chemicals caused Monty's extra eye, but scientists say this was just a rare accident in nature. Human-faced monkey.
The gorilla who liked to walk like a human and was known as a clean freak became popular because of his habit to walk.
In 2018, a monkey with a human-like face became famous in China. This monkey lived at Tianjin Zoo and was a black-capped capuchin. People were surprised because its face looked very much like a person's. It had a square face, small eyes, and a serious expression, just like a worried man. Visitors at the zoo were amazed and took lots of pictures and videos of the monkey. Soon, these pictures spread all over the internet, and people started talking about it. Some people thought the monkey looked sad, while others thought it looked funny. Many said it looked like an old man thinking about his problems. Even though this monkey became very famous, it had one big problem. It couldn't find a mate. The monkey was 19 years old at the time, and zookeepers said it was still single. Other monkeys in the zoo had found partners, but this one had no luck in love. Some people thought maybe the monkey's human-like face scared the other monkeys away. The zookeepers said the monkey liked to play in the mud and break coconuts. Even though it was different, it still acted just like other monkeys. Scientists say some monkeys and apes can have faces that remind people of humans. This is because humans and monkeys are related. A long time ago, we shared the same ancestors. That's why monkeys can make expressions that look like smiling, frowning, or even thinking hard. Wild boars. In March 2011, a big earthquake and tsunami hit Japan, causing a serious accident at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. People living nearby had to leave their homes because of the radiation. With towns empty, wild boars started to roam these areas freely. Wild boars are animals that look like pigs and live in forests. After the people left, these boars moved into the empty towns. They walked through streets, searched for food, and even went into abandoned houses. Without humans around, the boar population grew quickly. they have many babies, so their numbers increased fast. The nuclear accident released radioactive materials into the environment. Wild boars ate plants and foods contaminated with radiation. Some boars had high levels of radioactive cesium in their bodies, making them unsafe to eat. However, studies showed that these boars didn't have significant health problems from the radiation. Their bodies seemed to handle the low levels of radiation without major issues. As the boar population grew, they started causing problems. They damaged farms by eating crops, leading to losses for farmers. In some towns, boars became so common that they seemed unafraid of people. Residents felt like the boars were taking over their towns. To control the boar population, local hunters were encouraged to catch them. But disposing of the boar bodies was hard because they were radioactive. Special incinerators were built to safely burn the boars, but these could only handle a few boars each day. Some domestic pigs escaped after the disaster and started living in the wild. These pigs bred with wild boars, creating hybrids. Over time, the wild boar genes became more common, and the pig traits faded away. Birth of eight-legged goat. In 2014, a remarkable event took place on a farm in Croatia. A goat named Sarka gave birth to a baby goat that had 8 legs and both male and female body parts. This unusual baby goat was affectionately nicknamed Octo goat. Farmer Zoran Poparic, who owned Sarka, was astonished when he first saw the newborn. He counted the legs multiple times, thinking he might be mistaken. To confirm what he was seeing, he even called his neighbor. Poparic remarked, "I counted his legs and I thought I was seeing things. Then I called my neighbor to make sure that I am not crazy." Veterinarians examined Octogoat and concluded that the extra legs and reproductive organs were likely due to an underdeveloped twin merging with the baby goat during development. This rare condition can result in animals being born with additional body parts. At birth, Octogoat faced challenges standing and moving because of the extra legs. Veterinarians were concerned about the goat's chances of survival, suggesting that if it lived beyond the first week, it might survive for 2 to 3 years. Farmer Poparic observed that Octogoat was trying to stand, but lacked the strength due to its condition. The story of Octogoat captured the attention of people worldwide. Many were fascinated by this rare occurrence and curious about the goat's future. The media coverage highlighted the complexities of animal development and the unexpected anomalies that can occur. Mutated frog. Scientists studying Chernobyl found something very surprising. Frogs that should have been bright green had turned dark brown or even black. These frogs are called eastern tree frogs, and they usually blend in with leaves. But the ones in Chernobyl looked different. The scientists think the frogs changed color to help protect themselves from the radiation. The darker color comes from something called melanin, which is found in skin and helps block harmful rays, like how sunscreen protects people from the sun. Dr. German Orizaola and his team studied over 200 male frogs from different places near Chernobyl. They saw that the frogs closest to the explosion site were much darker than those farther away. It seemed like the darker frogs had a better chance of surviving when the accident happened. Over time, these frogs had babies, and their dark color became more common in the area. But scientists aren't sure if these black frogs will stay this way forever. The radiation in Chernobyl is much lower now, so the extra protection from dark skin might not be needed anymore. If being black doesn't help the frogs much, they might go back to their normal green color over time. The Chernobyl disaster didn't just affect frogs. Even today, crops grown 30 miles away still have unsafe amounts of a dangerous substance called strontium-90. This substance can get inside people's bones and make them very sick. The Ukrainian government stopped testing for it in 2013, so no one knows exactly how dangerous the food and wood in the area still are. Even though the Chernobyl explosion happened many years ago, its effects are still seen today. The black frogs are a sign of how nature tries to survive, even in the most dangerous places. Scientists will keep studying these animals to understand how life can adapt to radiation. Maybe one day the land will be safe again, but for now, the story of the black frogs reminds us of what happened and how it changed the world forever. Quasimoto.
Doing great! so good.
Quasimoto, affectionately known as Quasi, is a German shepherd dog who became famous because of his unique appearance. He was born with a rare condition called short spine syndrome, which makes his body look different from other dogs. This condition is so uncommon that only about 13 dogs in the world are known to have it. Short spine syndrome is a genetic condition that affects how a dog's spine develops. Dogs with this syndrome have fewer bones in their spine, making their bodies shorter and giving them a hunchbacked look. They often have a hard time turning their heads and may have other bone problems. Quasi was found as a stray dog and taken in by Secondhand Hounds, an animal rescue group in Minnesota. Despite his unusual appearance, Quasi showed a friendly and loving personality. The rescue team named him after Quasimoto, the kind-hearted character from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. To help Quasi live a comfortable life, veterinarians performed surgeries. One operation was on his neck to fix skin problems caused by his condition. They also addressed issues with his tail, known as a screw tail, which is a deformity in the tailbones. These surgeries aim to reduce any pain and improve his quality of life. At Secondhand Hounds, Quasi received the care and love he needed. The staff noted that although he couldn't turn his head like other dogs, he adapted well and didn't let his condition stop him from enjoying life. He became a symbol of resilience and the ability to overcome challenges. Quasi's story touched the hearts of many people around the world. His caregivers created a Facebook page called Quasi the Great, where they shared updates about his life and adventures. The page quickly gained thousands of followers who were inspired by Quasi's spirit and determination. Double-headed calf.
We've all heard the phrase, 2 heads are better than 1. It turns out this actually took place in our area. Although the phrase typically refers to more thought power, it was a very different situation for one area farmer in Metcalfe County.
A family in the United States was shocked when their cow gave birth to a very rare baby. This calf had 2 heads, 4 eyes, 4 ears, 2 noses, and 2 mouths. Sadly, it did not survive for long. This unusual condition is called polycephaly, which means many heads in Greek. It happens when something goes wrong while a baby animal is growing in the mother's belly. Dr. Elena McDonald explained that tiny mistakes in how genes work during early growth can lead to big changes, like extra heads. This is not something that runs in families. Instead, it happens by chance. The calf was born to the Tartar family in Edmonson County, Kentucky. It was a rare event, only happening once in 400 million births. Cassie Tater, a 20-year-old agriculture student, said she was amazed but not completely surprised. She remembered her family once had a pig born with a similar condition before she was born. The baby cow had many health problems. It had a curved spine, a cleft palate, and weak legs that did not grow right. It also had a short tail and an underdeveloped rectum. Its spine was flipped inside its chest, making it hard to survive. Even though the calf was alive at birth, it passed away soon after. Cassie's class at Western Kentucky University studied the calf to understand what went wrong. Some animals like this happen because of a mistake when DNA copies itself. Others form when twin embryos stop growing properly and mix into one body. After examining the calf, the students found that it had just one set of organs, meaning it wasn't a twin that had fused together. Even though it was sad, Cassie said the calf's birth helped people learn more about these rare cases. She and her classmates were able to study it, making the most out of a tough situation. The good news is that the mother cow was completely healthy and doing fine. Cat with 4 ears. Imagine very special cat with not 2, but 4 ears. Midas is a special cat from Turkey who became famous because she looks different. She has 4 ears, 2 regular ones and 2 smaller ones in front. This happened because of a change in her genes, but it doesn't hurt her or make her sick. Midas was born in Ankara, Turkey, in a friend's backyard. She was the only kitten in her litter with 4 ears. A kind woman named Canis Dosametsi adopted her.
We have never thought of buying a cat. We just wanted to rescue
a cat from the street and we wanted to adopt her.
Canis thought Midas might have a hard time finding a home because she looked different. Now, Midas lives happily with Canis and her 2 dogs, Susie and Zeno.
Well, Midas is very playful cat, and she likes to cuddle and sit on my lap. And she goes along with the dog, the Susie, and Zeno. We have another dog.
Midas got her name from a story in Greek mythology about King Midas, who had donkey ears. Even though Midas has extra ears, they don't help her hear better, but they don't cause any problems either. Her vet says she's healthy and can hear just fine. Midas became popular on the internet because of her unique look. She has an Instagram account where many people follow her adventures. Her owner hopes that Midas's story will encourage others to adopt pets, even if they look different. Janus, the 2-headed tortoise. Janus is a special tortoise who lives at the Geneva Natural History Museum in Switzerland. He was born there in 1997 and is now 26 years old. What makes him different is that he has 2 heads, 2 hearts, and 2 pairs of lungs. Each head even has its own personality. The right head is curious and active, while the left head is calm and loves to eat. In the wild, Janus wouldn't survive because he can't pull his heads into his shell to hide. But at the museum, he gets special care. His caretakers feed him organic salads and give him daily baths with green tea and chamomile. He even rides a custom skateboard for exercise. Because Janus has 2 heads, they sometimes want to go in different directions, which can be tricky. In 2020, he had surgery for a bladder stone, but recovered well. Most 2-headed tortoises don't live long, but Janus has thrived with proper care. In 2022, he celebrated his 25th birthday with a big party at the museum.
Folks at the Geneva Natural History Museum are celebrating a very special birthday and a world record. This is incredible. So this little guy is Janus, a 2-headed tortoise, and turning 25 years old. So very impressive.
His story teaches us that with kindness and care, even the most unusual animals can live happy, long lives. One-eyed lamb. In a small village in Indonesia, a farmer named Pipi experienced a surprising event on June 22. One of his sheep gave birth to a black lamb with only 1 eye in the middle of its forehead.
Mata na. Mata bersatu. Mata bersatu.
This rare condition is called cyclopia. Cyclopia happens when a baby's face doesn't develop correctly during pregnancy, leading to a single eye and other facial differences. The lamb had trouble breathing and eating because of its unusual face. Pipi asked his neighbors for help, but some thought the lamb might bring bad luck. Despite these beliefs, Pipi cared for the lamb and hoped it would bring blessings to his family. Sadly, the lamb lived for only 2 days, passing away soon. Pipi was saddened by the loss, but continued to care for his other sheep. Cyclopia is very rare in animals and usually results in early death due to vital organ problems. For example, in the 1950s, sheep in Idaho gave birth to cyclopic lambs after eating a plant called corn lily, which contains a chemical that disrupts normal development. Cases like this remind us of the complexities of nature and the challenges that can arise during development. Triple-headed frog. In 2004, children at the Green Umbrella Nursery in Weston-super-Mare, UK, found something truly strange in their garden: a frog with 3 heads and 6 legs. At first, the teachers thought it was just 3 frogs sitting closely together, but when they looked closer, they realized it was one single frog with 3 heads sharing the same body. The children were amazed and called it Froggy. Scientists were shocked too because such a mutation is extremely rare. Mike Dilger, a wildlife biologist, said he had never seen anything like it before. While frogs can sometimes be born with small differences, like an extra toe or leg, having 3 heads is almost unheard of. Experts believe this strange mutation could have happened because of a genetic mistake while the frog was developing. Another possibility is that pollution or other environmental problems caused the frog to grow differently. Some studies have shown that pollution in water can lead to changes in frog development. This discovery made many people wonder if something in the area's water or environment might be affecting local wildlife. Unfortunately, the three-headed frog did not stay in the nursery for long. It hopped away and disappeared back into the wild. Pig with a human face. In 2016, a very strange pig was born in China. People were shocked because its face looked like a monkey. The little pig had a tiny snout, a big lower jaw, and a head that didn't look like a normal pig at all. Photos of the pig spread across the internet, and people couldn't believe their eyes. Some even wondered if scientists had mixed pig and monkey DNA, but experts said that wasn't true. They believed the pig's unusual face was just a birth defect. Some scientists think pollution in the environment might have caused the pig to look different. The piglet was born in Jijin, a town in Guizhou province. It was one of 8 baby pigs born to a family in a small village. A news agency took photos of the piglet being fed by its owner. This wasn't the only strange pig in China. Another pig was born with 2 snouts and 3 eyes. A picture of that pig also appeared online. The owner said they had been taking care of it since birth. Again, people guessed that pollution might have been the cause, but no one could prove it. Special ducklings. In 2002, in Queensland, Australia, a special duckling named Jake was born with 4 legs. This rare condition happened because of a genetic mutation, which is like a tiny change in the duck's body instructions. Such mutations can sometimes cause unusual features, like extra legs. Unfortunately, Jake's extra legs made it hard for him to move around and live like other ducklings. Because of this, Jake didn't survive for long after he was born. Having extra legs is very uncommon in ducks, but there have been other similar cases. For example, in 2007, another duckling named Stumpy was born in England with 4 legs. Stumpy's extra legs didn't work for walking, but they acted like stabilizers, helping him balance. Stumpy's owner took special care of him to keep him safe. These rare cases teach us about the amazing variety in nature and how sometimes unexpected changes can happen during development. While these changes can be fascinating, they can also make life challenging for the animals affected. Cat with wings. In May 2007, in Xianyang City, Shanxi Province, China, a grandmother named Mrs. Feng had a 1-year-old tomcat who developed unusual wing-like growths on his back. These furry appendages grew rapidly, reaching about 4 inches in length within a month. Mrs. Feng observed that the growths began as small bumps before expanding into what appeared to be wings. The exact cause of these wings is not definitively known. Some experts suggest that such growths could result from genetic mutations, skin conditions, or matted fur. In some reported cases, similar wing-like appearances in cats have been attributed to a condition called feline cutaneous asthenia, which causes the skin to be unusually elastic and stretchable. Despite their unusual appearance, these wing-like growths typically do not harm the cat's health or quality of life. However, they can attract significant attention and curiosity. Mrs. Feng's cat became a local sensation, drawing interest from neighbors and media alike. Dual-headed trout. In southern Idaho, scientists found baby fish with 2 heads. These fish were brown trout, and their parents lived in streams near a place called the Smoky Canyon Mine. This mine is owned by a big company named J.R. Simplot. The fish had 2 heads because of a chemical called selenium. Selenium comes from the mine and gets into the water. When fish get too much selenium, it can cause problems like extra heads. The company did a study and found these 2-headed fish. They wanted to show that a little more selenium in the water wouldn't hurt the fish too much. But other scientists didn't agree. They said that too much selenium is bad for fish and other animals. This discovery is important because it shows how pollution from mines can hurt nature. It reminds us to be careful about what we put into our rivers and streams. Keeping our water clean helps protect the fish and all the animals that live there. Diphallic shark. In 2013, a fisherman in the Florida Keys caught a bull shark. When he looked inside, he found a baby shark with 2 heads. Each head had its own brain, but they shared one body. This rare condition is called dicephaly, which means having 2 heads. Scientists say that such sharks probably wouldn't survive in the ocean because swimming and catching food would be too hard. Two-headed sharks have been found before, but it's very unusual. For example, in 2008, another fisherman found a two-headed blue shark embryo in the Indian Ocean. Scientists think that factors like infections, pollution, or genetic issues might cause these rare mutations. Finding a two-headed shark is so rare that scientists are very interested in studying them to understand how these mutations happen. Each discovery helps us learn more about the amazing and sometimes strange world of ocean life. Special lion. In December 2015, in Idaho, USA, a hunter legally killed a mountain lion that had something very unusual, extra teeth and whiskers growing out of its forehead. This surprised scientists, who had never seen anything like it before. Experts think there are two possible reasons for this strange feature. One idea is that the lions started out as twins, but one twin didn't fully form and became part of the other. This can cause extra body parts, like teeth, to appear in odd places. Another idea is that the lion had a special kind of tumor called a teratoma. These tumors can have teeth, hair, and other tissues inside them. Discoveries like this help scientists learn more about wildlife and the unusual things that can happen in nature. They remind us that there's always something new and surprising to find in the animal world. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more.